We drive over bridges every single day without a second thought. We trust the engineers, we trust the steel. We assume that a massive structure, built with millions of dollars and approved by government inspectors, is safe. We assume that if a bridge was going to fail, it would give us a warning. It would sag or crack, or be closed for emergency repairs long before it fell. But sometimes gravity doesn't give a warning. Sometimes a massive concrete bridge, suspended 100 feet in the air, simply lets go. In the blink of an eye, faster than you can hit the brake pedal, the road beneath you vanishes. Imagine sitting at a red light in Miami, looking up at a brand new pedestrian bridge being built, admiring the modern design. Then in a split second, the 950-ton concrete span instantly shatters and drops flat onto the road, crushing the cars in front of you like soda cans. Imagine driving across a major interstate highway in Minnesota during rush hour, bumper to bumper with other commuters, only to feel the entire world drop 50 feet as the bridge plunges into the dark waters of the Mississippi River. This is the structural mega defect, the sudden collapse. Today, we are investigating the three modern bridges that snapped instantly. 1. The FIU Bridge in Florida, the instant bridge that became an instant tragedy due to a calculation error. 2. The I-35W Bridge in Minneapolis, the vital highway artery that dissolved because of a single plate of steel. And 3. The Morandi Bridge in Italy, the concrete giant that rotted from the inside out while thousands drove over it. Let's inspect the wreckage. 2. Pre-roll. Sponsor. A bridge connects 2 points over a dangerous gap. A VPN connects you to the internet over a dangerous network. If the bridge snaps, you fall. If the connection snaps or is intercepted, your personal data falls into the hands of hackers and identity thieves. That's why I use NordVPN. NordVPN is your digital perimeter fence. It encrypts your connection, keeping the squatters out. It secures your personal data, even on public Wi-Fi networks in airports or cafes. Plus, it lets you route your connection through servers worldwide, unlocking content and keeping your true location hidden. Don't leave your digital doors unlocked in a bad neighborhood. Secure them today and use code MEGADEFECT for up to 73% off, plus 3 extra months. Our first disaster is one of the most documented collapses in modern history, largely thanks to the dash cam of a driver who uttered the famous, chilling words, "I'm so glad I didn't stop filming." It was March 15, 2018, at Florida International University, FIU in Miami. A brand new pedestrian bridge had just been lifted into place over Southwest 8th Street, an 8-lane highway. The project was celebrated as a marvel of accelerated bridge construction, ABC. The idea behind ABC is to build the bridge on the side of the road, on temporary supports, and then swing it into place in a matter of hours. This prevents months of traffic delays. The FIU bridge was swung into place on Saturday, March 10th. It was a triumph. But 5 days later, at 1:47 p.m. on a Thursday, while cars were stopped at a red light underneath, the 174-foot main span collapsed. It didn't sag, it shattered. It fell flat onto the road in less than a second, crushing 8 vehicles and killing 6 people. The investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, revealed a shocking calculation defect. The bridge design was unique, a concrete truss designed to look like a cable-stayed bridge. But the cables were just for show. The strength came from the concrete truss itself. The engineers had severely miscalculated the shear stress on the critical connection point. Node 11/12, at the north end of the bridge. In the days leading up to the collapse, the bridge was screaming a warning. Massive cracks had appeared in the concrete at that node. They were not hairline fractures. They were deep structural fissures that you could stick a tape measure into. Workers sent photos of the cracks to the lead engineer. The engineer acknowledged the cracks but dismissed them as non-structural and stated there was no safety concern. He was wrong. In a fatal, tragic error, the engineering team decided to try and close the cracks by tightening the steel rods inside the truss. They believed that squeezing the concrete would hold it together. On the morning of the collapse, construction crews were out on the bridge, tightening the massive steel rods. They didn't realize that tightening the rods at that specific angle actually put more shear stress on the already failing concrete node. As they cranked the tension, the concrete exploded. The node disintegrated. Without that diagonal support, the entire span lost its structural integrity instantly. Gravity took over. It was a failure of hubris, ignoring the visual warning signs because the computer model said it was fine. The bridge was telling them it was dying, but nobody listened until it hit the ground. I-35W Bridge, Minneapolis, the gusset plate. From Florida, we moved north to Minnesota to the I-35W Mississippi River Bridge. This was not a pedestrian walkway. This was a major 8-lane steel truss arch bridge, a vital artery carrying 140,000 vehicles a day over the Mississippi River. It had stood for 40 years. On August 1st, 2007, at 6:05 p.m., right in the middle of the evening rush hour, the unthinkable happened. Security cameras captured the bridge simply vanishing. One moment, traffic was moving slowly. The next, the center span dropped straight down, followed by the adjoining sections tilting up and sliding into the water. 111 vehicles plunged 100 feet down. Some hit the water, others smashed onto the concrete riverbanks or were crushed by falling steel. 13 people died and 145 were injured. The defect here wasn't cracks or rot. It was a design flaw buried deep in the blueprints from the 1960s. The NTSB investigation focused on a specific component: the gusset plates. These are the flat steel sheets that connect the beams of the truss together. Imagine the knuckles that hold the skeleton of the bridge together. Every force in the bridge flows through these plates. Investigators found that the gusset plates at the critical U10 node were too thin. They were only ½ an inch thick. Based on the load calculations for a bridge of that size, they should have been 1 inch thick. For 40 years, the bridge had stood on these undersized knuckles, defying the math. But over time, the bridge got heavier. In the 1970s and 1990s, the city added a thicker concrete deck and median barriers to the bridge, adding millions of pounds of dead load. The safety margin was shrinking every year. Then came the straw that broke the camel's back. On the day of the collapse, the bridge was undergoing resurfacing work. Construction crews had parked massive piles of gravel, sand, and heavy machinery right over the weakest point, the U10 node. The investigation estimated the construction load was 574,000 pounds, 287 tons, concentrated in one spot. The extra weight was too much. The undersized gusset plates buckled. They bent like a soda can under a boot. Once the knuckle broke, the truss unzipped. The failure of one connection transferred the load to the next, which failed instantly, and so on. The entire 1,000-foot structure collapsed in just 13 seconds. It proved that a bridge can stand for decades with a fatal flaw, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for the one heavy truck or pile of gravel to find it. The Morandi Bridge, Italy. Finally, we traveled to Genoa, Italy, for the tragedy of the Morandi Bridge. Built in the 1960s, this bridge was an icon of Italian engineering and a critical link connecting Italy to France. It towered 45 meters above the city, crossing over warehouses, railway tracks, and apartment buildings. The bridge used a unique, proprietary design by Riccardo Morandi: pre-stressed concrete stay cables. In a normal cable-stayed bridge, the cables holding up the road are made of exposed steel strands. You can see them, paint them, and inspect them. But Morandi believed that encasing the steel cables inside a concrete shell would protect them from the elements and make the bridge stiffer. But this created a hidden defect. You couldn't see the steel, you couldn't inspect it, you couldn't paint it. Over 50 years, the salty sea air of Genoa and the pollution from the industrial zone below seeped through microscopic cracks in the concrete shell. Inside the casing, a chemical reaction was eating the steel. Carbonation lowered the pH of the concrete, and chloride ions from the sea air attacked the metal. The steel cables were rusting away, hidden inside their concrete tomb. On August 14, 2018, during a heavy summer rainstorm, one of the mainstay cables on the southern dashcam footage shows the horrifying moment. A truck driver slams on his brakes as the road ahead simply disappears into the fog and rain. A 200-meter section of the bridge collapsed instantly, falling 45 meters onto the riverbed and industrial park below. 43 people were killed. The investigation revealed that the steel cables had corroded by up to 68%. The bridge was literally hanging by a thread. Even worse, the investigation uncovered that the bridge operator, Autostrade per l'Italia, knew about the corrosion risks. Reports from years prior had warned that the stays were degrading, but maintenance was delayed to save money. The tragedy of the Morandi Bridge is that the protective concrete shell actually accelerated the failure. It trapped the moisture and hid the rot until it was too late. It stands as a monument to the danger of building things you cannot inspect. If you can't see the rust, you can't stop the collapse. These three collapses, FIU, I-35W, and Morandi, shatter the illusion of permanence. We think of bridges as stone and steel, eternal and unmoving. But a bridge is a machine. It is constantly fighting a war against gravity and the elements. And like any machine, if you design it wrong, overload it, or let it rust, it will eventually lose that war. The drivers on those bridges did nothing wrong. They paid their tolls, followed the speed limits, and trusted the engineers. The mega defect is that sometimes the trust is placed on a gusset plate that is half an inch too thin, or a concrete node that is already cracking. Gravity is the ultimate inspector, and it catches every mistake. Does driving over a high bridge make you nervous? Which of these collapses scares you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if this look into the structural failures of our world fascinated you, hit that like button, share this video, and make sure to subscribe to Mega Defect. We are mapping the flaws of the modern world, one snapped cable at a time.